ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्री महागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Namaste again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi brahmagnau brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. This is the sloka we started seeing in the last class. The ladle, the wooden spoon which is used for homam and rituals, etc., is Brahman. What is being offered is Brahman. Unto what it is offered, the fire is also Brahman. Brahman alone is to be reached by him who sees Brahman in every action. As I said, here Bhagavan Krishna takes a big jump in the Vedanta teaching. And with this verse, he concludes the Jnanam topic as far as the 4th chapter is concerned. And this verse condenses the entire Vedanta teaching. Until now, Krishna had talked about Jnanam as differentiating Atma and Anatma. Isn't it? Atma, Anatma, Vivekaha, Dehi, Deha, Vivekaha. That's what we have been discussing. And there we saw that every individual is a mixture of two principles. One is the consciousness principle and the other is the body principle. And we also saw that both have contrasting features. So if we understand the features, we will be able to intellectually differentiate between Atma and Anatma. And by this knowledge that I am consciousness and everything else is matter, I am Anatma and everything else is Anatma, this knowledge is incomplete because in this knowledge, we are still in the realm of Dvaitam only. We are perceiving duality. So this knowledge is good enough up to a certain level. Let us call it undergraduate level of spiritual studies. But then, as it's these days, post graduation is a must in any field. Therefore, we have to progress to the post graduation level. No doubt, we have progressed a lot. I have progressed a lot. I am able to claim that I am consciousness, which itself is a very big leap from the fact that once upon a time I was claiming myself to be the body, mind, sense complex. So far I have been saying I am the body. And from that, to say that I am consciousness, I am Atma, Aham Brahmasmi, itself is a very big progress. But that is not the complete Vedanta teaching. There is still a duality in the form of spirit and matter, Chetanam, Achetanam. And therefore, the next stage of Vedanta is what? Knowing that there is no matter other than consciousness. What we call matter is a myth, mithya. Matter is non-substantial. Even though it appears as tangible, solid substance, matter does not have a substantiality of its own. Matter does not have an existence of its own. Whatever we are perceiving as matter, as tangible, solid substance, the existence of that substance is borrowed from the consciousness. That is why it appears to exist, appears to be real. And the Upanishads unfold this reality in stages. And as we saw, the first level of Upanishadic teaching is recognizing the fact that the consciousness principle is separate from the body, mind, sense complex. Just like understanding that electricity is a principle which is separate from the bulb or the fan or whatever it operates. The bulb and fan operate on the basis of electricity borrowed from the original electricity principle. So that electricity principle pervades and blesses the bulb. In the same way, consciousness is a separate entity which blesses the perishable body, mind, sense complex. And then we learned that consciousness principle I am not the body, mind, sense complex. The body, mind complex is only a medium through which I transact. And in the absence of the body, mind complex, I will stop all my transactions. But I will not stop to be existing. The consciousness, will always exist. But I cannot reveal myself. I cannot be recognized because there is no medium for recognizing me. Therefore, existence does not require body, mind, sense complex, but transactions require this body, mind complex. So this is the first level of learning is, I am the consciousness principle. This is the first level of learning in Vedanta. And the next level of learning is that the consciousness principle, is the same behind all body, mind, sense complex, just as there is only one thread behind all beads of a mala. Just as there is only one space alone which is contained in different containers. Each container has got a space, but that space does not belong to the container. It is one space which gets divided as though divided because of different containers. Similarly, there is only one consciousness enclosed in any number of bodies. The enclosures are many, the containers are many, but the content is one, consciousness. Thus, I, the consciousness, am the same behind everyone. In fact, from the standpoint of consciousness, all of us are one. Atma Ekatvam. This is the second lesson of Vedanta. And the third and final lesson of Vedanta, and the most important teaching, is that this I, which is consciousness behind all body and mind, is alone the ultimate truth and the essence of this creation. The body, mind, sense, complex, and external world do not exist independent of the consciousness. Therefore, it is said in the scripture, the consciousness is Satyam, and the body, mind, sense, complex is Mithya. And to understand this particular idea, the Upanishad uses a particular methodology of teaching, which Krishna does not elaborately deal with it here. But in the Upanishad, it is presented. And through that methodology, the Upanishads teach that consciousness alone is the cause, and everything else is a product of this consciousness principle alone. So substance is consciousness. Atma alone is the substance. Matter does not exist separate from consciousness. And what is that consciousness? I am that consciousness. And therefore, what should be the conclusion? There is no material world separate from me, the observer. Huge jump. We have never even contemplated such thinking. It is an Upanishadic leap, which of course Krishna is careful to avoid in the Bhagavad Gita, because probably he feels or he felt that it would be too much for Arjuna and all of us to be fed with this heavy dose of reality. He touches upon this in one or two places in the Gita. And one of the places is this sloka. That the knowledge that there is no world different from me, the observer, the Sakshi Chaitanyam, I the Sakshi Chaitanyam, this is the ultimate knowledge of Vedanta. Once you understand this, once you assimilate this knowledge, the true meaning of Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi and all will be revealed. Till such time, we will be only dwelling in the Dvaita world. It will not be Advaitam. Advaitam is what? Understanding, assimilating the fact, the reality that I alone am there. Everything else is dependent on me. I provide existence to everything else in this world. I alone am the reality. That is Advaita. Even when you say consciousness is the reality, there is still, you are looking at consciousness different from yourself. So consciousness is reality. Everything else is mithya. I am consciousness. So I alone am reality. Everything else is dependent on me for their existence. This is the final teaching of Vedanta. Once you reach that stage, nothing will matter. Everything will be important. Everything will be relevant, but nothing will matter. You alone will be there. And what are you? You are Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. Only Ananda and Ananda will be there. That is the culmination of Vedanta teaching. And if you say, Guruji, this is too much, how can we swallow all that? I mean, you say you alone are there, but everywhere, everybody is there, everything is there. What the Guru will do, he will say, I agree what you are saying, I understand what you are saying, but just recall the example, classic example of Vedanta. What is that? Dream. Vedanta will say, when you are in dream, you experience an external world in dream, which is so different from you, which is so tangible, which is so real in the dream. And that's why we get nightmares, etc. Some people laugh in the dreams. Some people will say so many things which is there at the back of the mind in the dreams. Many spouses wait eagerly for the other spouse to reveal so many secrets in the dream. And if you happen to see a tiger in the dream, you are not going to say in the dream that this is a dream tiger. In fact, in a dream, you never look upon any experience, any object in the dream as a dream. Everything you consider solidly real, tangibly real, capable of interacting with you. If it's a tiger, it is capable of chasing you, and you are also capable of running away from there. As long as we are in the dream, everything looks totally real. And in fact, from the dream world, it crosses to the waking world also to some extent, because this person is sleeping, everything, all his mind sense complex is supposed to be completely resolved, but still reactions keeps coming. That is why dream is not sushupti. Dream is an intermediate stage between waking world and sushupti, deep sleep state. And in the dream, suppose a guru comes, a dream guru, who comes and tells you that tiger which you are seeing is not tiger at all. It is you who is projecting a tiger. The tiger is not separate from you at all. If it tells you that the entire dream has come out of you only, you are the creator of the dream. The entire dream is resting on you. And the entire dream at one stage will resolve into you. If the dream guru says all these things, will the dream shishya easily accept that? He will never accept, even though that is a fact. What he has to do to accept it? To accept that as a fact, the dream shishya has to wake up. Once he wakes up, then it becomes very easy fact for him to assimilate. I was the creator of the dream. I created a dream body. I created a dream tiger. I created all the events in the dream. And I lived as though I am living in the waking world. I lived in a dream world created by me. It becomes very easy to assimilate. But during dream, if you ask him, he will never accept this fact. So Vedanta says that in the same way, this world is also dream of another level. So we have got two levels of dreams. One is called Pratibhasika dream. Another is called Vyavaharika dream. Subjective dream. Transactional dream. Empirical dream. And when we look at this from the body standpoint, it has got a reality. Isn't it? All the Vyavaharika transactions that we do, from the standpoint of the body, it has got a reality. Just like when we acquire a dream body and then interact in the dream with all other characters, for the dream body, everything that is happening is a reality. And that is the reason Kathopanishad is pointing out this dream in a beautiful way, this transactional reality in a beautiful way. It says, Uttishta hai, Jagrita hai, Prapya varan nibodata hai. Arise, awake. Do not stop until you reach your goal. Very subtly it is pointing out that you are still in a different kind of dream, and your goal is to reach that ultimate reality, ultimate truth, ultimate knowledge that I alone am existing. That's why it says, arise, awake. If you are already awake, if you think you are already awake, why should the Upanishad say arise, awake? Uttishta hai, Jagrata hai. Why should it say? In fact, it's a very famous line of Swami Vivekananda. He made this as his byline for the entire Vedanta teaching. And that is the crux of the whole Vedanta teaching. We all think that we are awake, but we are still in a dream, in a different kind of dream. We may be physically awake, our body, mind, sense complex may be awake, but spiritually we are in a dream only, in a dream world. Vyavaharika dream. So when the Upanishads say, arise, awake, it means the Upanishad is urging you, beseeching you, goading you to wake up, even though you are thinking that you are awake. Upanishad is pointing out that you are like what they call the somnambulist. You know what is somnambulism, isn't it? Walking in dream or walking in sleep. According to the Upanishads, we are all somnambulists walking in different dreams. The Vyavaharika dream. Therefore, Krishna wants to say, give us that ultimate teaching that everything is nothing but consciousness. Everything is nothing but Atma. There is no Anatma separate from Atma. This is the essence of this verse. So Atma is the Karanam, Anatma is the Karyam. Here, in the context of what we are discussing, Vedanta teaching, we know that the entire world is Anatma. But what we need to understand, our body, mind, sense complex along with the world is all Anatma. It is a product. And product is nothing but a modification of the cause with a name and form. If wood is a product, a wooden table is a product, it is nothing but a modification of a log of wood which is given a different name and form. The same log of wood can be used to create another product, a chair, a bed. So, wood being the cause, everything else, chair, table, etc., are all modification of the cause with a name and form. And once I learn to see this fact that consciousness is the cause and matter is the effect, then my attitude towards the matter will change. What is that attitudinal change? That there is no matter separate from consciousness. There is no matter separate from me. Just like there is no matter, so there is no ornament separate from gold. Once I have understood that gold is the essence, I may continue to see various ornaments. I may continue to see a ring, a necklace, a earring, a chain. So many ornaments I will continue to see. I will continue to use them. I will continue to give them as gift, etc. But I will know that the essence of all these ornaments is gold only, which is inherent in all of them. Even science, the scientists say that all different types of elements that you see are superficially different, but ultimately they are all energy in motion. That is where the science has come to conclusion. They have not gone to the last step. That energy in motion is nothing but a result of consciousness only, a product of consciousness only. Therefore, different substances you see are all superficially different, but the essence is one energy. And as I said, Vedanta goes one more step further. Vedanta says even energies which you are talking about are superficially different. Behind all of them, there is only one essence, and that is consciousness. And if you ask how the invisible consciousness can become the visible creation, science itself answers that intangible, invisible energy can manifest as tangible matter. If that is possible for energy, Vedanta says that the intangible, formless consciousness alone is appearing as tangible, formful matter. And the one who has this vision, one who sees one truth behind all this superficial plurality, that is called Sarvatra Swarna Darshanam. Just like a person sees only gold in all ornaments, with the full understanding that gold is the cause, all these ornaments are effects with name and form. So Sarvatra Ekaswarna Darshanam. Similarly, behind rivers, oceans, lakes, what is there? Sarvatra Eka Jala Darshanam. Behind all furniture, there is Sarvatra Eka Kashta or wood Darshanam. And therefore, a Jnani understands that behind this pluralistic world, he has got Sarvatra Eka Atma Darshanam. Atma Ekatva Darshanam. And Kaivalya Upanishad, there is a mantra which says this in so many words. Krishna borrows this into Bhagavad Gita also. We'll see that later. What is that mantra? Sarva bhutastamatmanam sarva bhutani chatmani sampashyan brahma paramam yati nanyena hetuna. And that idea is conveyed here also. The idea is the man of this vision The one who sees non-duality in and through duality. And that person is called what? Brahma Karma Samadhina. It is a title given to a jnani. Brahma Karma Samadhi is the title. Samadhi means we all know it's absorption. One whose mind is totally absorbed. That is called Samadhi. Taking the ornament example, when we are seeing different ornaments, the superficial mind sees the differences, but the inner mind is aware of the fact that all these ornaments are nothing but gold alone. The same ornaments, if they are made out of some aluminium or anything, will have no value. The ornaments get their value only because they are made of gold. This absorption of this knowledge, that is called gold samadhi, swarna samadhi. So swarna samadhi means not losing the sight of the fact that gold is the essence, even though we call it by different names as bangle, ring, necklace, etc. And here in this sloka, the samadhi is not gold samadhi or water samadhi. Here we are talking about Brahma samadhi. Not losing sight of the fact that Brahman is in and through all transaction. Here he uses the word karma. Here karma means transactions. So Brahma Karma Samadhi means a wise person who does not lose the sight of the essential consciousness in and through all the transactions. Transaction need not necessarily be between a person and another person. Even seeing something is a transaction. Seeing a table is a transaction. Feeling a cloth is a transaction. So in and through all transaction, there is only one reality. There is only one essence, that is consciousness. And that consciousness is me. That when you say the last word, that consciousness is me, then it becomes Advaitam. Otherwise, you will always consider I am Atma and there is Anatma outside, which is pervaded by consciousness. Ultimate teaching of Vedanta is that consciousness which you are talking about all through, which you say it's all pervading, you are given so many features of that consciousness. Ultimate teaching is that consciousness is nothing but me alone. I alone am that consciousness, lending existence to the entire world, pervading this entire world. That is the ultimate teaching. And the transactions are very deliberately done. Swami Paramathanandaji gives another beautiful example. This is like a person who is traveling by a train, let's say from Chennai to Delhi. In between, he may get down at different stations. He may buy newspaper, buy some eatables, water bottle, etc. He may even pay money, receive the balance, etc. He will be very aware how much money he has given, how much he has to receive back, etc. But in and through all these transactions, at the back of his mind, he is always aware of the fact that he is only in an intermediary station. He has not reached this goal. And that the train will leave in another 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And then he needs to get back to the train within that time. Then only he can reach his goal. He never loses this awareness. Thus, in the background of his mind, the Delhi Samadhi is there. But in the transaction, he never commits any mistake. He is very alert. That means the conscious mind does all the transaction, but the subconscious mind is aware of this truth. And this awareness is called Jnana Nishta, Atma Nishta, or Brahma Nishta. The word Brahman, as you all know, is another name for Atma. And such a person is called here Brahma Karma Samadhi. Now the question is, Krishna has been talking about Sannyasi Jnani and Grihastha Jnani. Now in this verse, how should we know what he is, whom he is referring to? Is he referring to a Sannyasi Jnani or a Grihastha Jnani? We can easily conclude from the verse itself that he is talking about a Grihastha Jnani. Why? Because the verse talks about religious duties done by a Jnani. Because this Jnani is continuing to do all his religious duties. And one of the religious duties which once upon a time they were doing, even though there are some people who do it, is Agnihotra Karma. Most important duty for everybody. Now only I think some Brahmins, they are following this Agnihotra Karma. Upasanam, Samitadhanam, Upasanam for Grihasthas, Samitadhanam for Brahmacharis, all this early morning, do Sandhya Vandanam, do Upasanam, it's all called, the Upasanam called Agnihotra Karma, fire ritual. And that is a very important for a Grihastha. Vedas talk about it. Different 5 types of fires a Grihastha has to maintain. So, this Agnihotra is one of the daily fire rituals which a Grihastha has to do. Even though he may be a Jnani, as long as he is within the family, he has not taken sannyasa, he has not renounced his Grihasthashrama, this Nitya Naimittika karmas cannot be given up. As long as he is having the sacred thread, which he will discard only when he becomes a sannyasi, as long as the thread is there, he is bound by the Nitya Naimittika karmas. They cannot be given up. Therefore, here in this verse, Krishna visualizes such a Grihastha Jnani who continues to perform his daily rituals. And Krishna says that even though as a Grihastha, he is using that ladle, that wooden spoon to pour ghee into the fire. He is offering, boiled rice, a havis to the fire, and also samit and so many other things into the fire. At the back of his mind, he knows that Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat. So in and through all these transactions, in and through all these actions, that for the Grihastha Jnani, there is an absorption. And that absorption is what is described in this sloka. Brahmarpanam. Arpanam, as I told you, means the instrument, the wooden ladle with which the oblations are offered. That is called Arpanam. Of course, the word Arpanam has got several meanings. But in this context, we have to take the meaning Arpanam as that wooden spoon with which offering is done. So how does the Jnani look upon that? He looks upon Arpanam Brahma. Just like a scientist knows that this is also energy in motion. Protons, neutrons, electrons are all energy in motion. When he sees a wall, he says it is energy in motion. He also knows, absorbed in the fact that diamond is also carbon, coal is also carbon alone. But of course, if you ask the scientist, okay, I will give you a piece of coal. Can you give me your diamond ring? Will he agree? So even though he knows the truth of both diamond and coal is the same, he will continue to maintain the transactional differences. It's all very important. That's why I said it's a very great sloka. Essence of entire Vedanta, Krishna has he has compressed in one sloka. So Jnani will continue to maintain all the transactional differences, but at the back of his mind, he will always be aware about the truth. At the transactional level, I know the difference between bangle and necklace. How do I say that? I will not put my bangle in the ear. I will put my bangle only in the hand. I will not put my necklace in my head. I will put it only in my neck. Ring also, I know how to put it, only in the finger. I will not put the ring in any other finger also, but only in the ring finger. Of course, there are people who have got dozens of rings, so they may put everywhere. But traditionally, only one ring is supposed to be worn, and that is in the ring finger. So transactionally, I handle everything, all transaction appropriately. But in my vision, I know Sarvam Swarnamayam, Sarvam Brahmamayam. So this Jnani has this vision, this ladle, this wooden spoon, Arpanam Brahma, then Havihi Brahma, and we offer to the Agni with the wooden spoon, maybe some cooked rice, some ghee, all that, maybe even milk we will offer. Whatever is we are offering in this wooden spoon, that Grihastha Jnani is aware that is also Brahman. Havihi Brahma. Havihi means oblation, what is offered unto Agni. What about the fire itself, into which all these are offered? Brahma, now the fire is also Brahman. What about the one who is offering into the oblation, the priest who is doing that, or if you are doing it? Brahmana Hutam. The offerer is also Brahman. And the Upanishad or Veda, for any religious ritual, promises as karma phalam, swargalokam, etc. You do all these rituals, you will go to swargaloka, or there are rituals for specific purposes. You do those rituals properly, you will get, like for example, often we quote Putra Kameshti Yagam. You do Putra Kameshti Yagam, you will get children. But the Jnani says, I am not interested in this Swargaloka, I am not interested in this children business and all. Why? Because that Swargaloka is also Brahman, these Putras are Brahman, this Yagam itself is Brahman. There is a beautiful bhajana line. It's at Telugu. Akkada unde Pandurangadu, ikkada unnadu. That is also Brahman. What is there is Panduranga, what is here is Panduranga. There is no Panduranga different from me. There is no Brahman different from me. Everything, all the pluralistic world that I am experiencing, I am transacting with, everything is Brahman alone. Brahmaiva Satyam. So, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam. The one who is absorbed in this Brahmanishta, who is he? Brahma Karma Samadhina. So, a Brahma Jnani, a Jnani who is absorbed in the understanding, in the knowledge that everything is Brahman. who is absorbed in this Brahma Nishta. This is called Sarvatra Brahma Darshanam. And again, Mundaka Upanishad puts it in a different way. Brahmai Vedam Amritam Purastad Brahma Paschad Brahma Dakshinat Chotarena Adachordvamcha Prasritam Brahmai Vedam Vishwamidam Varishtam. He says there is only one substance called Brahman. Behind Brahman, East Brahman, West is Brahman, South is Brahman, below is Brahman, above is Brahman, everything is Brahman eva. The whole world is nothing but Brahman alone. They may have different names and different forms, but substance is Brahman alone. This is the message of this sloka, which Krishna reveals in a very beautiful manner. Very heavy sloka. I know that we are in the intermediate stage only. But then Krishna, as I said, in this fourth chapter, in the context of the fourth chapter, through these 6-7 slokas, he wants to complete the whole Vedantic teaching. Summarize, condense the whole Vedantic teaching. And that is why, even though he knows that Arjuna is not yet prepared for this, he is introducing this Sarvatra Brahma Darshanam concept. Not concept, the reality. Okay. And Krishna now continues to next sloka. We will read the 25th sloka. Daivameva pare yagyam yogina paryupasate brahmagnavapare yagyam yajnainaivopajuhvati. The Anvaya of this sloka is apare yoginaha daivam yagyam eva upajuhvati. Evam yagyam yajnena Brahma agnav paryupasate daivam yajnam eva. Apare yoginaha. Some yogis. Here the reference is to karma yogis. Daivam yagyam, ritual involving the deities, eva alone, paryupasate, they perform. Apare, others means here sannyasis. Brahma agnav, unto the fire, or here fire refers to knowledge of Brahman. Yajnam, here the word yajnam has got a very contextual meaning, the self or ahankara, the ego. Yajnana eva, by the ahankara itself, or by the self itself, upajuhvati, offer. So from the physical ritual, which was talked about in the earlier previous sloka of offering, conducting an yajnam, here Krishna says, differentiate between two types of yogis, a karma yogi and a jnani. So he says some yogis offer the very self, by the self, into the fire of Brahman. Others perform Deva Yajna alone. So as I said with the previous sloka, the Jnanam topic is over. Now from the 25th verse onwards, Krishna is going to talk about the glory of this knowledge. Jnana Stutihi or Jnana Mahima. This will go up to the verse 34. So 25 to 34 is Jnana Sutihi. And he is going to glorify this knowledge in a particular manner. He enumerates several disciplines, spiritual disciplines, various spiritual sadhanas. Because in the scriptures we find there are endless sadhanas prescribed. Sometimes they say do Nama Japa is a great sadhana. Some people will say Dhyanam is a great sadhana. Some say yoga is the greatest sadhana. Some will say pilgrimage is the great sadhana. Others will say Dhanam is the greatest sadhana. In fact, countless sadhanas are mentioned. And Krishna wants to enumerate about 12 to 13 sadhanas, each of which he calls yajna. Every sadhana is called yajna. So japa yajna hai, dhyana yajna hai, upavasa yajna hai, yatra yajna hai, pranayama yajna hai. All these are called yajna. And why they are called yajna? Because in all these different sadhanas, one uniform factor or one common factor is Ishvara, the Lord, is involved in them. All the yajnas are dedicated to the Lord for a superior spiritual growth. Whenever you do Sankalpa, Mamopata, Samasta, Dukdakshay Dvara, Sri Parameshwara Prityartham, what are you praying for? You are praying for not any Dhanam Dhanyam Pashum Bahuputra Labha. You are praying only for Parameshwara Prityartham for what? Duridakshaya. All my impurities must go away. I must become spiritually pure. And that inner purity is sought from the Lord. So the Bhagavan is involved, prayer is involved, spiritual purity is involved, and all of them collectively is called yajna. Therefore, yajna does not mean that there should be a fire, there should be an oblation, etc. Even when someone does the service of sweeping a temple, that is yajna. Why sweeping the temple? Even sweeping your own house. If you do that with an attitude as an offering to Bhagavan, that becomes a yajna. With that attitude, you will start looking upon the house itself as a temple. You don't need to go to any other temple. Remaining in your house, you will consider that you are in a temple always. You are living in a temple, eating in a temple, sleeping in a temple, reading in a temple. You are in a temple. If you have a puja room or an altar for prayer at home, the whole house becomes a temple, isn't it? Because when we go to a temple, a real temple, the tangible temple, the real Bhagavan is there only in the Garbhagriha. But the entire complex, we treat it as a temple. We approach the entire complex with the purity that it deserves. In a temple also, we leave our footwear outside the temple, not outside the Garbhagriha, but outside the entire temple complex. And in our tradition, we practice that in our house. While entering our house also, we leave our footwear outside the house. If we consider our home, our house as a temple, we will not allow any adharmic activities taking place in the temple, in our house temple, smoking, consuming alcohol. So, in short, cleaning the house is the same as cleaning the temple. And everything we do with Ishwararpana Bhava is yajna. Therefore, what we require is only an attitudinal change. It makes every action a puja. Every offering and offering to Bhagavan, it purifies the person spiritually. And therefore, all of them are called yajna. Even eating, Krishna is going to call as yajna. Because while eating, instead of starting to eat the moment the food is served, many people, they have lost all that beautiful traditions. Before you eat, in fact, it's so sad that if you sit in a place, where different items are served, the moment the first item is served, people will start eating. One by one, which comes, this is animals only do that, not human beings. You wait for all the food to be served. Invoke the Bhagavan, which is the fire, the which is there in the stomach, the digestive fire, Jataragni. Big stomach we have got. Some people have got such a big stomach that you can construct another Brihadishwara temple within that, right? Can't you just wait for 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes after the food is served? You pray, invoke the Lord. This food I am eating, I am eating it as an offering to the Jataragni, which is Brahman, which is Ishvara. In 15th chapter, Krishna will say, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritah. I am in the stomach of everyone. I am in the body of everyone. So if you invoke the Lord within the stomach and consider whatever you eat as an offering to the Lord, your regular eating becomes an yajna. It is called Pranagnihotra Yajna. Agni in Chandogya Upanishad gives this name for eating, Pranagnihotram. Because it is Agnihotram karma only. You are actually making all oblations to the Agni in your stomach. Just like you are making oblations to the Agni which is outside. In fact, when you are going to have your food, if somebody asks you, where are you going? You can say, I am going to do Pranagnihotram. They will not know what it is, but you know that it is eating. Hotra means offering. Pranagni means the digestive prana, the fire unto which I offer the food. And that is why, in our tradition, if you want to increase your purity, suppose you go to a temple and you have been asked to make some offering, some prasada, some naivedyam for the Bhagavan. Whatever material you use for that, especially will you use onion, will you use all the garlic, etc. in making that? You will not. Because you know from your learning of the Shastras that things like onion, garlic, pungent things are not very pure. So you will not offer that to Bhagavan. Only sattvic food you will offer to Bhagavan. Similarly, when you are eating, what should be your attitude? This is an offering I am making to Bhagavan. So I will only eat sattvic food. Even if somebody says, oh, this onion is good for your heart, onion is good for your blood flow and all that, let it be. I cannot consume that because this is an offering I am making. It's a naivedyam. It's a prasada which I am offering. In fact, what I am offering will become a prasada for me. And since I am aiming at spiritual purity, I will only eat what I consider as fit enough to offer to Bhagavan. That is the only food I will consume. See, when we look at our traditions, such beautiful things are. Many people don't understand all these things because they have not been told about it. Anyhow, I think it's time. We will continue in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. Dhanyavada.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Any questions?
I said, yeah, really a heavy induction.
Heavy.
It will take a long time to sink
No,
in.
it will take a long time, but for that reason, we need not reject these. It's
No
part
question
of
of
learning, right?
Yeah, no question of rejection. But when you think you have reached some stage of understanding, another a boulder falls on you and says, "Hey, you have not reached anywhere."
Well, I wouldn't exactly say, because now, for example, I'll give you, Einstein's this theory of relativity. E is equal to mc square, correct? How many people understand? Even people who actually are scholars in physics, how many people will understand? But E is equal to mc square will be talked about in the high school stage. It will be talked about in the undergraduate stage. It will be talked about in the post-graduation stage. So we know that there is something called theory of relativity. But to understand the theory of relativity is not going to be easy. You will hear about it throughout your, your studies as a physics scholar. But eventually, when you reach probably the doctorate stage, you will understand what Einstein meant by this theory of relativity. And in today's context, even theory of relativity has become redundant. After the quantum physics and all have come, theory of relativity has been put in the background. So
now observer has become the primary thing. Sakshi Chaitanya has come in there.
Exactly. So the observer, what we are saying, the same thing.
Yes.
Sakshi Chaitanyam is the only relevant thing. Everything else is just, he witnesses everything. That is what quantum physics has come to. Still, they are looking at observer and the observed, right? They have not come to the conclusion that observer is the observed. There is nothing else other than the observer, the Sakshi. They have not reached that stage because they are doing experiments in a scientific way within the constraints which science has got. You require, for doing experiment, you require two entities. So they have still not reached Advaita. And which the instruments that science has got, instruments of inquiry, they will never reach Advaita, which Upanishads say. Advaitam is not an achievement. Advaitam is a reality which you have to only intellectually understand. But they are reaching there. I mean, the good thing is, now there are many scientists who are actually questioning all that, right from Newtonian physics to Einsteinian physics. Everybody is questioning whether that is relevant or not. Same thing we also. From Dvaitam, we come to Visishta Advaitam, then we come to Advaitam. They have also gone through the same thing. From Newtonian physics, they come to Einsteinian physics, they have come to now this quantum physics, and they are still further progressing. Many realities we thought were realities earlier, all are being now discarded by science itself. Same thing is happening in Vedanta. So, as you say, it's a long journey. It will take a long time. But how you should go about it is what is being taught here. What is the essence? What should be your attitude? What should be your understanding? What is the knowledge that you need to assimilate? That is what is being. And the method which is used, we will talk about it later in later slokas and all that. So when you are in the spiritual, that is the goal of entire spiritual journey rather. And then once you say, I am the only one, everything is dependent on me, there is no conflict at all then. Isn't it? All our conflicts are all arising out of either duality or plurality only. All our mental disturbances, emotional turmoils, everything because our understanding of duality and plurality, we are dealing with so many things is happening. So you bring everything to a common denominator, which is Brahman, right? Understand everything is Brahman. I am also Brahman. There is no difference. So there is no conflict at all. So this is how the whole teaching progresses. And this is with this understanding only slowly, we need to progress in the spiritual journey. That's what is important. Yeah. Not, in between we will get such heavy doses. But it will again go back to what we are more accustomed to.
Ultimately, it has to be you are one with it. You are aikyam in it. Your entire being is with it.
Exactly. And that is why, Nidityasanam, when they say, not necessarily sitting, closing your eyes in meditation. No. Every action, every transaction you do can be converted into Nidityasanam. This is Brahman. This is Brahman. Why am I worried about this? There is only Brahman alone, and I am that Brahman. So I don't need to worry about, have any anxiety, any concern, etc. If you are able to see that Brahma Samadhi, if you are Brahma Samadhi, Brahman in everything, transactionally you may be doing so many things, but you're understanding the back of the mind, just like gold, gold is a very classic example. We know we are dealing with so many ornaments, but we always are aware what is behind is gold. A woman lady may go to a jewelry shop. She will see all these things. The same shape, if that jeweler, same design, same shape, if he offers it in some aluminium or some other metal, she will not buy it. She wants only gold because she has got the gold. That's only gold I want. Everything which is gold I want. So this is how we have to develop this attitude, this thinking, this understanding. And that's how the knowledge will develop. It will take a long time, no doubt about it. It is not that this Janma alone we have been talking about duality. In fact, luckily in this Janma, for the very first time, after crores and crores of Janmas, we are talking about non-duality. Isn't it? If we had talked about non-duality in our previous human birth, we will not be here. We will be already Gyanis. So this is the very first opportunity we have got. It is going to take a long time. It's just like, we take our children to say, cricket coaching with the idea that after good coaching and all that, my child will become a national player or something, will be selected in the Indian team and all that, right? Not all children make it, but who make it are the ones who have started like that only. So similarly, in this spiritual journey, maybe not everybody who is attending the classes, who is learning, who goes to the Gurukulam will become a Jnani. But certainly, Jnanis will be from that group only. If you don't have this understanding, you can never become a Jnani. That is how we have to understand the whole thing. Yeah.
Guruji, amongst us, we still have people who call themselves Dvaidis, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, I remember talking to Dushyant Sridhari when he came here, gave a talk, and he said he's a Dvaidi.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what is it? So even after reading Bhagavad Gita, and there are people who hold the other view that it is, so how do we explain that? I don't know.
See, the explanation is basically this. Everybody, there are different levels of learning, correct? Now, when you are saying I am a Dvaiti or I am a Visishta Dvaiti, what is the source of your knowledge? Because everything has to be based, it cannot be my view, right? If I hold a certain viewpoint, it has to be based upon some authentic source of knowledge, correct?
Yes.
Now we have got different sources of knowledge. One is we have got the Itihasas, we have got the Puranas, we have got Smriti Granthas, then we have got Shruti Veda. Now, what happens is the Smriti Granthas, the Puranas, the Itihasas are nothing but diluted forms of what is contained in the Vedas. So Smritis are one level dilution, Puranas are two level dilution, Itihasa 3-level dilution. So what happens is those people who are actually following Puranas, for example, you entire ISKCON people, they follow Bhagavad Purana for all their teaching, for Puranic teaching. In our tradition also, there are people for whom Bhagavatam is the only literature. Only spiritual literature, they will follow Bhagavatam. But all these Itihasa, Purana, they talk full Dvaitam only. It is only when you come to Bhagavad Gita, the issue of Visishta Advaitam. Visishta Advaitam came into the picture because of Bhagavad Gita. So there, the slokas are interpreted with Dvaitam in mind, but it is a specialized Dvaitam, not the total Advaitam. So ultimately what we have to see, for us, for Advaitins, the source of knowledge is the Upanishads. When we say Veda Anta consists of Upanishad, knowledge which is contained in the Upanishads. There are more than 100 Upanishads. Of course, Adi Shankara has, and even Ramanujacharya, many Upanishads, they have given commentary. Adi Shankara commented on 10 Upanishads. So we consider 10 Upanishads as the important source of all our knowledge. Now, if somebody says that Dvaitam, I am a Dvaiti, you have to ask him, are you basing your your identity based on the Upanishads or based on Puranas? He say, I'm basing my identity based on Puranas. Nothing wrong. So he's a Dvaiti because Puranas, Dvaitam only is there. He will not believe in Jivan Mukti and all that. For them, going to moksha is after death going to Swarga Loka and Brahma Loka and all. That is what for them this moksha is. For us, moksha is becoming totally free, liberation. That is what Upanishads teach. Even though Bhagavata Puranam mentions all these things, but it is covered in so many details of stories and all. People who hear Bhagavata Purana miss all these messages of the Upanishads. They focus more on what Krishna did, Leela, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And Dushyant Sridhar is very good at that, entertaining the people with lot of examples, lot of stories. That is not Vedantic teaching at all. Dushyant Sridhar doesn't teach Vedanta. Ramana Maharishi taught Vedanta without formally teaching. Through Mauna Vyakhya. I mean, you go and sit with Ramana Maharishi, spend time with Ramana Maharishi, Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi. It's his knowledge will automatically come. You will be absorbing it. He did not, I mean, That's why we have got lot of, among teachers also, Shrotriyam, Brahmanishta, two are there. It is said in the Shastras that a good teacher is both Shrotriyam and Brahmanishta. If you are only Brahmanishta, which Ramana Maharshi has done, we have no record of Ramana Maharshi having gone to a Gurukulam, studied the Upanishads and all in this Janma, in his, when he was born here, right?
Mhm.
If he might have done that he himself said, what do you know about my previous Janmas? I have done, well, somebody asked him, Ramana Maharshi, you have not studied under any Guru. How do you know all these things? This is what exactly what you are saying is what is there in the Upanishads. He asked, what do you know about my previous Janmas? So he was Shrotriya in the previous Janma, he became Brahmanishta. So Ramana Maharshi did not venture to teach because the way the Upanishads has to be, so for example, the way Chinmayananda taught, or Swami Dayananda Saraswati taught, or for that matter, even Vivekananda taught, they are all Shrotriyam and Brahmanishta. So for a teaching, for a guru, that both qualifications are required. But for Aham Brahmasmi, it's only Brahmanishta, understanding only. So we have got different levels of teaching and different people are at different levels. But when we say Veda Anta, we are talking about the end, the final teaching. That is what we are focusing on. You
Is that called
cannot reach Advaita Vedanta without going through Dvaitam, Visishta Advaitam, and then Advaitam. You cannot straight away jump to Advaitam.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you are a Ramana Maharshi. But we all have to go through this route, rather. So even Dushyant Sridhar, he knows the contents of the Upanishads. But he still identify himself with the Pauranic literature only, Pauranic thought process. That is the difference. Yeah.
And who do we call enlightened? In a way, say the Buddha got enlightened under Bodhi tree. So whoever understands Brahmajnanam understands everything is consciousness only, and there is only consciousness. Everything else derives borrowed existence from consciousness. That is essentially the supposedly the the
ultimate teaching.
Ultimate thing. So if you understand that, would you consider yourself enlightened then? Or is in that the word enlightenment?
See, the word enlightenment can be used in different contexts because only the person, many people claim I am enlightened, correct?
Yeah.
So we have to see the word defining enlightenment in what context we are defining. If we are defining enlightenment as understanding, complete understanding and assimilating the ultimate truth of this universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where that ultimate truth is taught only in the Upanishads.
Yes.
So from that angle, a jnani we can call him enlightened. Because the word, see, what our problem always in these days is, whenever we are trying to use English vocabulary, it does not convey exactly what the Shastras convey. We at best do a most close, what we can call translation, rather.
Limitations of the language.
Limitations of that. Even a person, or even normal parlance, we say, oh, I am enlightened, but what you told. Correct? Now people say enlightened means gained knowledge. Right?
Gain knowledge. Please enlighten me on this subject.
So can you enlighten me on this particular topic? Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So there the word enlighten means what? It is nothing to do with Vedanta, spirituality, moksha and all. It could be enlightenment with reference to some particular, probably not relevant for everybody also. Knowledge.
Yeah.
So when we use the word enlightenment and all that, we get into all these problems. What do we mean by enlightenment? In what context are we talking? In Vedantic context, enlightened means moksha, jnana, right?
Yeah, mukti, right?
Mukti.
Yes.
So, and Vedanta says that you don't need to die for becoming a Mukta Purusha. While living itself,
You can attain that.
Jivan Mukta you can become.
Is that attainment of just knowledge then?
It's not attainment of just knowledge.
Yeah, you have to Atma Sakshatkara.
As I said, two important things. One, the ultimate culmination of this knowledge should end in two understandings. Everything else is Brahman. Everything in this universe is Brahman. One.
Yes.
And I am that Brahman.
Yeah.
Ultimate is this Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi. If you understand that, then you are a Mukta Purusha. So when we talk of liberation, freedom, so many things, what do we exactly mean by these words is what we have to ponder upon, we have to reflect upon. Liberation from what? Liberation, freedom from what? There, then we have to start asking, am I feeling limited today? Am I feeling bound? Do I have a lot of sorrow, grief? In my experience, sometimes I am happy. Sometimes, most of the times I am unhappy. Unhappiness is an unnatural state for a human being, for any jiva for that matter. And that is why we are uncomfortable when we are unhappy. We want to get rid of that state of unhappiness, become happy. What it means, becoming happy, remaining happy is our natural state. But then there are so many obstacles which are there, which makes us unhappy, which takes us away from that natural state. And the entire Upanishad teaching is all about how to reach, how to overcome all these obstacles which cause unhappiness and reach a stage of happiness where you will be permanently happy. Now, transactionally, that is not possible. From a Vyavaharika angle, it is not possible. There is a world, they are dealing with you, taking the world as reality. You get into all these problems, unhappy, that fellow didn't salute me. This person did not say good morning. Even that thing and all people are unhappy about. The ego drives all these things. The more bloated your ego, the more unhappy you will become. In fact, after a couple of hours, I'm going to give a talk in Canada, in the Sringeri temple. Short talk only. How to increase your happiness quotient, HQ. We talk about IQ, we talk about EQ and all, right? Intelligence quotient, emotional. The whole teaching is how to improve your happiness quotient. That is the subject matter of the talk. So what I'm saying is the whole Vedanta is all about that only. You start with Karma Yoga, come to Jnana Yoga. The process, your happiness quotient, you can measure it in fact. You can yourself measure your happiness quotient. Are you making progress? Things which were bothering you yesterday, are they continuing to bother you today? Or some of them have stopped bothering you? What you were anxious about yesterday, are you still anxious about those things today? Have you learned? Have you progressed? You can yourself monitor that. You don't need a certificate. Oh, so-and-so is a jnani. No, don't. You can, this jnanam slowly, it will come. And you are the best judge. So all these things are there. So we need to itself complete package this. And everything goes in that package. You can't choose. Package means accept the whole package. The end result is what? Swarupa Ananda. You will be dwelling in your Swarupa Ananda, ever happy. Nothing will bother you. Your mind will be calm, tranquil, like the Pacific Ocean. That is the state of happiness. And according to Vedanta, that is the ultimate goal that we are pursuing. But then there are others who have not reached that stage. So they are in Pauranic moksha. Bhagavad Gita also, in between, Bhagavan will talk about Swarga Loka and things like that and all. But Bhagavan Krishna very beautifully puts, talking about Swarga Loka, those who do lot of punya, and they will reach Swarga Loka. But then he immediately adds, Shine punye martyalokam vishanti. So all this Swargaloka going business and all is all valid only till your punyam is supporting it. The moment the punyam, because once you have gone to Swargaloka, you have started using your punya currency. Once that currency is exhausted, you are back to Martyaloka. So this Krishna, we will see all that slokas as we go forward. So all these we need to understand. Yeah.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. I think Lataji.
Guruji, I just have a comment. I think our spiritual journey starts from I am somebody. The enlightenment or the realization is I am nobody. Then I am everybody.
Absolutely.
This is 3 stages.
Good quotation. Good quotation. In fact, I should note down. You got very good skill.
Quotes.
Quotes. So they are very useful, very correct understanding. I am somebody, then I am nobody, then I am everybody. That's all.
Reservoir of quotes.
That is how, in terms of prayers, we start with Aneka Ishwara Darshanam. Sorry,
Correct.
Eka Ishwara Darshanam. Then we get to Vishwarupa Darshan. That is entire Vishwa is Ishwara.
Correct.
I am the Aham Brahmasmi. I am the only Ishwara. So in terms of our prayers, this is the change which takes place.
Absolutely.
You are dealing with plurality. First, you are dealing with individual Bhagavan, individual Devams. Then you start looking at the entire universe as Ishvara, manifestation of Ishvara. Then you will reach the stage, I am the only one. That's the final stage. Anyhow, I think Lataji had raised her hands, but I think she had to leave probably. I don't know. Is it there?
Namaste, Guruji. I'm here very much.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I missed today's class because very stupidly I mixed up the timings of the Kusumam class and this class.
Oh.
And because of the clock moving backward here in the UK, very stupidly I missed the class. So I had a question, but then I thought probably it would have been answered in today's session already.
Go ahead, ask the question.
Right. The question is, Guruji, that Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, these are the 3 cardinal steps we have to follow towards getting the higher knowledge. Shravanam appears to be the most feasible and the easiest one. My question was, are there any particular steps for Mananam and Nididhyasanam, or it just happens as you practice in a natural way, or are there any particular steps for Mananam and Nididhyasanam as well? Guruji, that was my question.
Okay, I mean, I didn't touch upon that, but Shravanam is a physical act where you actually listen to the Vedas, imbibe the knowledge.
Yes, Shravanam we are doing, and then we all also keep listening to your recordings, and that's the seems to be the so-called easiest one.
What we are now doing in this Q&A session is Manana.
Okay, right.
Doubts. Okay, because ultimately whatever you have done in Shravanam, when Vedanta presents this knowledge, there are a lot of seeming contradictions in that.
Yes.
There are intelligent intellect will not accept everything. Just because the Guru is saying, I swallow, that is not Vedanta way.
Yeah.
So Vedanta says that satisfy yourself, convince yourself that this knowledge is correct by doing all research, talking about Visishta Advaita, like Mr. Menon asked today about Dvaitam, right? No problem. Discuss everything and see the right context, what it is all about. Because when we say Brahman and all, it is not something we can experience, we can see or thing like that. So it's only a question of understanding. And for that understanding to be doubtless, any doubt coming in your mind should be first clarified. Then only you will reach the doubtless stage. And it is only after you reach the doubtless stage of accepting whatever Upanishads say is correct, you can enter in Nididhyasanam even. Because Nididhyasanam is nothing but recalling in your mind again and again and again and at every opportunity what doubtless knowledge you have gained.
Right.
Sorry. This is the crux of the whole thing. So there is nothing special sadhana or something like that and all. You must not talk about Nididhyasanam at all. Right now, focus on Shravanam and Manana. Getting all. And ask yourself, am I convinced? Am I convinced? Once you are convinced, even when you come to the teaching also rather. Sorry. Unless I am convinced about what I am teaching, I cannot convince you people, my students to, swallow that knowledge, isn't it?
Yes, Guruji, absolutely.
And if I am convinced, I should be in a position to answer every question which every student asks.
Yes, Guruji.
My conviction will be reflected only in my ability, my understanding that I have a good overall understanding. I have still not reached the Nididhyasanam stage. Right? Because this convincing, you may be intellectually convinced, but in transactionally getting convinced and acting on that knowledge is not going to be easy. You are still surrounded by so many people, so many things and all that, right? It's not easy to intellectually rise above that. It will take time. It will happen. So we should not talk about Nididhyasanam and all that. Nididhyasanam also sadhanas are there. Upanishads give what kind of meditation Nididhyasanam one should do and all that. In fact, the best thing is
I thought all the three steps should go on simultaneously. That's how I
no.
Right.
You cannot. I mean, can you become a MD without having an MBBS degree?
No, Guruji.
Do MBBS, then only MD. So that is how simultaneously no. Mananam, Ravanam is the heaviest. Mananam, depending upon your understanding, to gain clear, doubtless knowledge. That is Mananam stage. For that, you recur books, you consult gurus, you consult so many people, get all your doubts clear. That's all.
Thank you very much, Guruji. That's a very nice clarification. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Any other questions? Otherwise, I will close the session. I think no hands are up. Okay, Hari Om. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Guruji.
See you next class.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.